Speaking of older demographics, Jim Schwartz on the older end of defensive coordinators in football. You like that transition. And he got out-schemed and out-coached yesterday by Brian Daboll. And it may be nothing. And it may be a trend we're seeing in the way teams are attacking this Browns defense dating back to the playoff game against Houston last year. Before the game started, we all did our picks. None of us had the Giants scoring more than a single touchdown. 13 points was the most any of us picked for them to even allow in this game. And they put up 3 first-half touchdowns, including a 13-play, 81-yard drive where they overcame 2 holding penalties on the drive after the interception was nullified by the penalty. Jason, how surprised were you that this defense just got gashed in the first half by this Giants offense that simply isn't very good?
Yeah, I don't think anybody saw that coming. We talked, I can't remember if this was before the show or when we were doing whatever we were trying to do in the studio.
I didn't listen to a single word you said in studio, so if you guys have already said this, I apologize.
Well, I don't know, but we were talking about the fact that Schwartz likes to play with MJ on one side of the field and Denzel on the other, and it doesn't matter where the other team lines up. This is how we do it, and I think that needs to be reevaluated because clearly, I was really high on Emerson, and I still am. I still think he's a good cornerback, but obviously he's not to the level and caliber that Denzel Ward is. And the Giants just seemed to hunt him out on a lot of those routes with Neighbors, that they were going to go find Emerson, and that's where Neighbors is going to go. And they attacked it with great frequency and great success. That's just one part of it, but it's a concerning part. So, yeah, I was surprised at how easily the Giants were able to move the ball. I thought they cleaned some things up a little bit in the second half. Bull, you mentioned that they could have scored, obviously, on that last drive and fell down at the goal line. Singletary went down at the goal line, which is a smart play. But I think by that point, everybody knew the game was over. So I did think the second half was better than the first, but overall, they've got to be better. What are you holding up? I can't see it.
Me?
Oh, wait.
Emerson is a fraud.
Emerson is a fraud. I want written apologies from Jason Lloyd and from Earl the Pearl.
He's not a fraud.
He is a fraud.
He's not elite. He's not elite.
That's it. I'm exaggerating. I'm messing around, but he's not elite. And you guys, I felt like he was getting overhyped. There's only a few select cornerbacks that can play with the Justin Jeffersons and the Jamar Chases and the CD Lambs and the Malik Neighbors. Now, Malik Neighbors has to prove it for longer, but I think we all can see with our eyes in these first few weeks that Malik Neighbors appears to be the next great wide receiver in the NFL. And Denzel Ward is a special corner. Martin Emerson is a solid corner. And that was so dumb for Jim Schwartz. And then once the game's over, then he switches it up. Well, it's too late, Jim. You already blew it. How do you wait? Emerson and Newsom were getting killed. Emerson is better against the big kind of, possession receiver type of guy. The guys who are not burning down the field. He struggles with. We saw it in the playoffs against the Texans, and we've seen it again this year, and especially in this game.
The reason why MJ Emerson slid to, he was taking what in the third round?
Yep.
The reason he slid to the third round is because he's not a quick, twitchy type of corner. He's a bigger, longer, press type corner. He does not have the recovery speed. And if you look at it a couple of weeks in a row, the guys that give him trouble are the guys that are going to be able to turn on a dime, pivot, run certain routes, and he can't cover those. Malik Neighbors in the end zone he shook him all the way up out of his jersey. And it wasn't even close. You saw the body language. MJ Emerson was like, yeah, I ain't got nothing for this. And Greg Newsom is not much better. Greg Newsom is getting do you know how crazy it is in the NFL for them to run it back? They threw a fade on him, and he was toasted by 5 to 10 yards. That was a touchdown. All he had to do is drop the ball in the bucket. They said, you know what? We're so confident that we can cook you again. Let's run it again. And he gets up dancing and doing his stuff. But guess what? He got beat by Brian Thomas last week, on a big, long, deep pass, right? And today, it wasn't just that. What we're coming to find out is, and I'm sorry, the Browns got maybe 2 special guys, 2 on a possible. They got J.O.K. and they got Myles Garrett.
I put Denzel in there.
Like what I'm saying up front in the front seven, Denzel obviously is elite because, but the fact with Denzel is the injury issues, but he's definitely elite. The problem is Jim Schwartz is not adapting to what they're doing to him. Jim Schwartz, you got to put Denzel on the best guy, and the rest of them guys is going to be over there in the corner, like battling, doing something else. The second thing is, I've been asking you for weeks and months, you're going to have to play some zone, bro. And if Myles Garrett ain't playing, they're going to have to play some zone. The 2 times that they tried to play zone, it was bust. Like Malik Neighbors was like, oh, y'all playing zone now? Let me run this little skinny post. Oh, Rodney McLeod can't check me. So, I think, and I'm just be honest with you, they found out if the Browns are the Mike Tyson of defenses. If you let Mike Tyson, remember back in the day, Mike Tyson was knocking fools out in about 35 seconds. But
if people started to round.
Hey, when Evander Holyfield and Lennox Lewis started being like, hey, listen, let's make Mike go the distance. Don't get knocked out. Use your jab, use your punch, keep him off of you, grab him, hold him, get him frustrated. That's what it is with the Browns defense. If you don't let them be in 3rd and 20 and you dink and dunk, and you saw Daniel Jones do this. Let's run some screens to have him pull up field. Let's throw some jet motion. Let's do some stuff. They wasn't running nothing special. Let's just drop back and run quarterback draw. By the time you get past them first 3 or 4 plays in the series, the Browns are giving up 7. They're not giving up 3. They're giving up 7 if you take them the distance. I think they've been found out, and the film does not lie. Offensive coordinators have figured out this is what you need to do to stay consistent with the Browns defense.
Well,
the defense as a whole was a disaster, has been a disaster this year. Let's face it, it's been a disaster since late last year. Yep. I don't have much more to say in terms of scheme. I think the guy, Jason and G, already laid it out for you. I was so perplexed by how they did not use Denzel Ward to try to shut down Malik Neighbors. I know I thought they would do it in this game, especially because unlike some other teams, like when you're dealing with some other teams, the Bengals, the Cowboys, who have special receivers, they have other good players too in their offense. So maybe I can understand it. But the Giants got nobody. The rest of their pass catchers are complete nothings. So it makes no sense to not say, and even if it's just for this game, Denzel, you got Malik, we'll take care of the rest because nobody else in their receiving core is any good. And that's why it was just inexcusable. And he killed them. And yeah, they turned it around the second half, and Denzel did a good job. But part of the reason they turned it around the second half is because the Giants were stupid, as a lot of teams are, and they get super conservative before they should. And they stopped blitzing, on both sides of the ball, they got conservative. So